Memory and attention. If we want to remember something tomorrow, we have to consolidate it into long-term memory today. Long-term memory is the final, semi-permanent stage of memory. Unlike sensory and short-term memory, long-term memory has a theoretically infinite capacity, and information can remain there indefinitely. Long-term memory has also been called reference memory because an individual must refer to the information in long-term memory when performing almost any task. Long-term memory can be broken down into two categories: explicit and implicit memory. Explicit memory. Explicit memory, also known as conscious or declarative memory, involves memory of facts, concepts, and events that require conscious recall of the information. In other words, the individual must actively think about retrieving the information from memory. This type of information is explicitly stored and retrieved, hence its name. Explicit memory can be further subdivided into semantic memory, which concerns facts, and episodic memory, which concerns primarily personal or autobiographical information. Episodic memory. Episodic memory is used for more contextualized memories. They are generally memories of specific moments or episodes in one's life. As such, they include sensations and emotions associated with the event, in addition to the who, what, where, and when of what happened. An example of an episodic memory would be recalling your family's trip to the beach. Autobiographical memory, memory for particular events in one's own life, is generally viewed as either equivalent to or a subset of episodic memory. One specific type of autobiographical memory is a flashbulb memory, which is highly detailed, explicitly vivid snapshot of the moment and circumstances in which a piece of surprising and consequential or emotionally arousing news was heard. For example, many people remember exactly where they were and what they were doing when they heard of the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. This is because it is a flashbulb memory. Semantic and episodic memory are closely related. Memory for facts can be enhanced with episodic memories associated with the fact, and vice versa. For example, the answer to the factual question, "Are all apples red?" might be recalled by remembering the time you saw someone eating a green apple. Likewise, semantic memories about certain topics, such as football, can contribute to more detailed episodic memories of a particular personal event, like watching a football game. A person that barely knows the rules of football will remember the various plays and outcomes of the game in much less detail than a football expert. Implicit memory. In contrast to explicit conscious memory, implicit, also called unconscious or procedural memory, involves procedures for completing actions. These actions develop with practice over time. Athletic skills are one example of implicit memory. You learn the fundamentals of a sport, practice them over and over, and then they flow naturally during a game. Rehearsing for a dance or musical performance is another example of implicit memory. Everyday examples include remembering how to tie your shoes, drive a car, or ride a bicycle. These memories are accessed without conscious awareness. They are automatically translated into actions without us even realizing it. As such, they can often be difficult to teach or explain to other people. Implicit memories differ from the semantic scripts described above in that they are usually actions that involve movement and motor coordination, whereas scripts tend to emphasize social norms or behaviors. Short-term memory storage. Short-term memory is the ability to hold information for a short duration of time, on the order of seconds. In the process of encoding, information enters the brain and can be quickly forgotten if it is not stored further in the short-term memory. George A. Miller suggested that the capacity of short-term memory storage is approximately 7 items plus or minus 2, but modern researchers are showing that this can vary depending on variables like the stored item's phonological properties. When several elements such as digits, words, or pictures are held in short-term memory simultaneously, their representations compete with each other for recall or degrade each other. Thereby, new content gradually pushes out older content. unless the older content is actively protected against interference by rehearsal or by directing attention to it. Information in the short-term memory is readily accessible, but for only a short time. It continuously decays, so in the absence of rehearsal, keeping information in short-term memory by mentally repeating it, it can be forgotten. Long-term memory storage. In contrast to short-term memory, long-term memory is the ability to hold semantic information for a prolonged period of time. Items stored in short-term memory move to long-term memory through rehearsal, processing, and use. The capacity of long-term memory storage is much greater than that of short-term memory, and perhaps unlimited. However, the duration of long-term memories is not permanent. Unless a memory is occasionally recalled, it may fail to be recalled on later occasions. This is known as forgetting. Long-term memory storage can be affected by traumatic brain injury or lesions. Amnesia, a deficit in memory, can be caused by brain damage. Anterograde amnesia is the inability to store new memories. Retrograde amnesia is the inability to retrieve old memories. These types of amnesia indicate that memory does have a storage process.